Sometimes we don't feel like going. The desire to create is strong. The motivation, however, can be challenging. We often glance out our window and convince ourselves the conditions just aren't right, whatever that means. I'm sure you understand, and I'm guessing you've been there. We tell ourselves there are no good locations nearby, so why bother? Why bother going out? This morning, however, those excuses didn't prevail. I could feel the magic in the air, and a white wonderland awaited. I was glad I pushed myself to get out this morning, even being a short drive to a local state park. There's always something to photograph. The thing is, each time we reassure ourselves that it's not worth the effort, we lose out on the experience. And after all, isn't that why we do this? I was glad to be here right now, in this moment. Narration is absent for the remainder of this video. My intent and hope is that it inspires you to get out there and have an experience. Create photographs from those experiences. They'll have a different meaning to you, and that too is all part of growing as a photographer, and for those of us who love the outdoors. If you enjoy this video, stick around at the end for the commentary where I tell the story behind the making of the video and my thoughts on the images I shared. Hi everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video here and the idea, the concept behind this video. This is a direction I've been wanting to take my channel in, where I do these almost like these silent walkthrough videos, where I give you, the viewer, a way to use your imagination and to inspire you to get out and get shooting. I know through research that two of the biggest problems many photographers have, many hobbyists, enthusiasts, and even professionals, is the motivation. And of course, the location, where we'd all love to be shooting in national parks. Most of us don't have that privilege to be in a national park every weekend. And so that was the idea behind this video, was to show that you can photograph in your local park, your local state park. So yeah, I blew sunrise at this particular location. And that's another thing to be said about going out. We all think the best light of the day is, the golden hour, blue hour, and it is magnificent light. But there are opportunities such as this shoot where, maybe an hour or so after sunrise, with that low and those long shadows, that low light, you can get some wonderful images. And I had some beautiful light on this morning. So again, the point is no excuses. In fact, I emphasized the sun quite a bit in the beginning of this video, just to show that you can see it there. It's already above. You can just see it coming through the top of the bridge there, and then there are other indications in here. Here again, you can get an idea of the sun coming in from the upper right and up there. Yeah, throughout the entire video there, on the way, again, a lot of emphasis on the way to the state park. You have to be prudent with checking the weather and doing the things we landscape photographers do, right? We look at the weather forecast. We're looking for those opportunities, those foggy mornings, right? Those winter wonderlands, as such was the case here. So I already had an indication that this morning might have been this opportunity. There's just something so wonderful about the sound of crunched snow underfoot. So I really emphasized on the wind, the beautiful light I was getting, some of the sounds. And you notice throughout a lot of this video too, I've included a lot of things, or I should say I haven't excluded, such as you're going to hear like the sounds of a nearby train. Let's play this really quick. And I have all of just the snow falling off these trees. And there's the train, and I'm hoping the audio is coming through for this. I should have checked that ahead of time. Slightly with the music fading out underneath. And what was lovely about this, as you may notice in this video, is I captured a lot of clips where I have the fleeting snow falling off of the leaves. And the idea behind this was to, oh geez, sir, there's my cat. Hey kitty, I'm recording here, boy. The idea behind this was to show just how fleeting these opportunities are. I mean, this is the snow had just stopped earlier this morning, and with a little wind and a little light warming of the weather, you start to lose these opportunities with these frosted trees, and so I included a lot of B-roll of all the fleeting snow. And you see me on this side of the pond, where I gradually just fade the music in to just build up some interest, and then you can see. You see me stop here. So I'd set up my tripod to walk through this, and I just naturally stopped here. It worked out really well. It wasn't actually intentional at first. I'm like, well, I'm going to use this. It just worked out great. And so at that point, I took another piece of B-roll here to give a hint. It doesn't really give you much information, and I think the eye goes to the of all things, an outhouse. This is the tree I'm going to photograph, so you really can't make it out at this focal length, but that was the idea. I'm under this canopy. You have a frozen pond, hints of the bridge to go over. There's my tree. I'll be working this here. There's something in here, right? It gives that idea. Again, this idea of alluding to this inspiration to get out. There's always something to shoot. I included a lot of the brook here in the beginning of the video. I sort of hinted to it, opening with it. And then I just I cut right to these hints of this brook. And again, as I mentioned earlier, with the crunching snow underfoot, those audible sounds, a running brook is just so therapeutic, so beautiful. Just beyond this over here is Route 5, is a road with cars going by, and I've included those. Let me see, I think they're in here. Yeah, you can hear that car. I decided to keep all of the environmental sounds in, again, just to show that you don't have to be in this prestigious location out in the middle of the Alpines or in the middle of the mountains, which I would love to be in. Yes, that is an incredible experience, but that also takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of money and time, right? You can drive 10 minutes down to your nearest state park and have an experience and go home feeling fulfilled in nature. I begin giving hints, as you can see here, building up the music here, showing hints of the tree I had in mind, and then again just alluding more to the environmental elements around me. And then the hints of the outhouse that I showed from the other side of the brook. And then, of course, spending some time here. There you go. There's the snow again falling, So the idea is, if you wait too long, you miss that opportunity, right? All the snow from the wind is falling off this tree already. And, this is what I'm here for. All of this. That is just beautiful. And by the way, I should say that I wish I spent some time shooting from this angle right here. This is quite beautiful, and the background is quite nice. And there's some nice hints here of the shadows, and enough definition and layer. So I got some depth here. And by the way, I haven't shot. This is not the first time hey boy, sorry here. My kitty wants to get up on my lap. It's not the first time I photographed this tree. Let me get over to Lightroom and show you. Yeah, so I'll visit this state park maybe twice, 3 times a year, seasonal, foggy opportunities. So here you go right here. We have the tree in a nice foggy environment, as well as right here. This is probably the best image I've gotten of this tree. Again, being a foggy morning, I took the opportunity. These are the things I'm talking about opportunities. If you haven't been paying attention or you weren't planning on going out and you just happen to wake up to fog, it's great to have in your back pocket 2 or 3 locations that you can be on location in, 10, 15, a half hour, and maybe still be able to capture some of that, as was the case on this morning years ago. And yeah, this came out pretty well. So for this video here, I was shooting here this way into the tree. In this particular case, I'm on the other side of the pond shooting this way because obviously all the fog was back here, and this made for a wonderful opportunity. But anyway, in this particular case, I have decided that I wanted to shoot the tree from this angle right over here. And so again, this whole scene right here playing out is just this idea of taking your time. I like to take this ecological approach. In fact, I call it ecological photography. You can learn more about that on my website as well, but it's this idea of sort of connecting in your environment, taking the time to study the scene, try and get the right angle, take your time, enjoy the process. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. Just walking around looking at angles. I'm looking for complications and, mergers and that type of stuff. And in this particular case here, I'm bending down to see if I can include more of the sky. If I were to shoot lower, this background line here and see what that might look like from up there rather than shooting up here and just sort of comparing the difference. The biggest problem I had were all of these limbs here on the right. It was hard to frame this tree without putting it right on the edge of the frame and add intention to remove those. And then, of course, taking some shots. First shot I've taken right here. It's okay. I don't do a lot of black and white. The idea behind this photo was to get in a little bit tighter, use the frozen pond, the edge of the pond, use these lines. We have some nice contrast between this and the rest of the pond, and then the edge of the line just leading you right into the tree. Include some of these shadows. I didn't take the benches out. And then, of course, try to add more attention to this. I wasn't too crazy about this shot, but I decided to keep it in here as Winter's Frost 1 so I can add sort of an idea of what you can do to go deeper, right? We think, oh, there's nothing to shoot, right? This is, but if you take a little bit more time, maybe just shoot vertical, right? And you might end up with something like this. I did like this shot where I included the entire tree with lots of space around it. There's no doubt who's the boss here, right? Who is the focus point? Not that this image isn't also the focus point, but this is just really, I think, a little bit more artistic. But that was not my favorite shot of the morning as I make my way into this lovely trailhead here with again, this winter wonderland here was just so beautiful. I just enjoyed this walk right here, this hike. As I'm walking in here, I had to take a lot of B-roll just to bring you in here, right? Low to the ground, just panning through a rolling shutter and just being in this moment here. The hints of the sky through this trailhead. Again, more hints of the environment. But as I walk through here, I'm slowly building up the music, by the way, right, to bring up to this image here. But as I slowly walk through, I come up to this right here. And what drew me to this area was this tree right here. All right. And so when I started framing this, what drew me in here was this tree right here with all of this snow on these limbs, and they're just flaring out. I wondered, how can I capture this in an image? It looked so cool in person. This is coming out towards me. These are flaring out. Sometimes it's hard to capture some of that dimension. But really what the star of the show was these 3 trees right here and this incredible light coming through right in here. And as a result, I decided to frame this in such a way where these will complement this and add balance. You know, these are 3 much smaller trees, but between that and the diagonal hill going up here, and I love using diagonals and triangles in my compositions. So we have more visual weight and we have these powerful lines going up as the trees are going, vertically up. So we have the visual weight of the landscape with these smaller trees, which complement this guy here, and the rest just speaks for itself. Wonderful light coming through. And by the way, the sun is up here. So again, this isn't sunrise conditions. I'm probably, 2.5. Let's see, what am I? Look at this. This was, okay, I apologize. My my Z8 was an hour off time-wise. So this was actually 10. Yeah, so this was 11 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty impressive to get light like this. And so the eye sort of leads right to this here, and then just sort of wanders around. And I used some of these angles here just to bring you in. It's just a lovely scene with just bringing you into this winter wonderland. And again, I don't do a lot of black and white, but let me show you what this image looked like in color. Now, these are other compositions I had tried making. I had tried including the trailhead here to bring you into the scene and wrap around. I don't like the sun sneaking through. There's not enough weight here, I believe. Again, this idea of going deeper. I tried to add a little bit more emphasis on the trailhead to fix that. Don't like it. And I missed the sun. I always tell, when I'm teaching, I always tell people, pay attention to your corners, life in the frame. And I made my own mistake by not realizing some of these flares coming through. And that is a little bit more difficult on a mirrorless camera because a lot of times you may not pick those up as you would in a DSLR, but I still should have checked my LCD to see. And I think I made another composition. I got a little bit closer and I sort of lost the essence of everything here. I didn't know what I was doing. This guy was my focal point, so I've tried to include a little of this, but there's not enough to tell a story there. I missed out on this. I missed out on the light. So I got one good shot out of this, and I didn't want the blue sky to take away from it. I looked at it in black and white. I struggle with black and white, by the way, but what would this look like in black and white? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. Let me just share a couple more images to reinforce the idea of what you can do with different times and just different opportunities, right? These were taken at a different time. All these shots were taken at a different time. So there's plenty of stuff you can do. It's just a matter of getting out and having that experience. And that's about it. So with that, be kind to one another. Grab your gear. Watch the weather forecast. Watch for snow. Watch for interest in photogenic opportunities. And even if you can't find any, just get out there. Push yourself. Push yourself to get out and have an experience. If you come home empty-handed with no images, I don't even think you'll mind, because you'll have that experience being in the woodlands, being in nature. There's something to be said about it. So that's about it. Until next time, thanks for watching. And get on out there.